What's up, guys? Mason the Brock Henderson here, and welcome to my Psych the Movie review. So as you can see, because it was Christmas themed, I decided to put on an ugly Christmas sweater. I got my blood right here to drink because, murder's gonna happen. Relax. It's not actually blood, it's water with the Mio thing. Is that what it's called? I don't know. It's not actually blood, mostly. But yeah, so let's talk about Psych the movie. Yeah, I was really looking forward to this. If you have not somehow heard about Psych, the TV show, definitely check it out if you can. Whether you need to go get the DVDs or if you can find it somewhere. Pretty sure it was taken off of Netflix, if I recall, so kind of disappointed about that. But yeah, great TV show overall. A lot of fun, good mysteries to solve as well, so a lot of fun for the whole family. And so when I heard that they were doing this Psych the movie thing, well, I was psyched. God, that's almost as bad as a sweater. But yeah, it was really exciting to look forward to. It's something that I was really pumped for because I love Psych. And so to know that I was getting more of it, more of the zany antics that Gus and Shawn get into, I was super pumped for it. And I got a lot of what I was expecting. A lot of good, funny moments, a pretty interesting mystery to go along with it. I will say there wasn't a whole lot to go off of. I guess there were a few hints in Shawn's dream near the end, where Mary shows up and a talking pony, and then Jules is dressed up as Princess Leia, and Gus is in his is that Michael Jackson? Yeah, he wore that for what episode was that? I think it was like season 2 or 3. Tim Curry was in it as well. They were doing like it was almost like American Idol type thing, and Gus wore that outfit for that show. It was so many callbacks in this episode. I loved it. But yeah, I kind of wondered what I was gonna get through this. I was wondering, is it going to be just a bunch of callbacks? Is it going to be just another mystery for us to solve? Is it going to be what am I gonna get out of this? Well, little did I know, this is actually part of a 6-movie plan that they've got going for Psych. The reason I came upon this is I was looking up about Timothy Omundelson? Can't remember how to say his last name. The guy that plays Lassie. Because he did have a little bit of a scene in this, and I kind of wondered, did something happen to him? Came to find out, apparently he had a stroke shortly after this was announced, which is why his scene was so short, and I was like, something was off about that scene. The stroke did, affect one side of his face. I've seen somebody else have to deal with that before, and the way he was talking, it seemed like that one side of his face was just completely paralyzed. And so I'm like, did he have a stroke? And he did. So I'm glad to see that he did get a little bit of a cameo in this. That he had a pretty good moment with Jules. So I did like that. But when I was looking that up, I found out, he was going to be heavily featured in the second movie of this 6-movie plan. I'm like, wait, there's more? So yeah, apparently this is kind of building up to be not just one movie, but several movies. And that gets me excited. I don't know exactly how long it's going to take to make all of these, if it's going to be like one every year, one every half of a year. They're going to do like a Christmas one and then one in like May or something like that. I don't know. But I'm really looking forward to seeing if that's going to get greenlit and what they can do with it. Because based off of this first one, there's a lot of potential to really have some more fun and finish off some stories that I think we all secretly kind of want to be finished off. So let's talk about this movie. There are a few different stories going on that ultimately kind of tie together near the end. But we see the main story for this. Jules has this new partner. His name is Sam. And we see them sort of working together on this, they're trying to bust some people, and, Jules is just doing a really good job at her job, and then he's doing a really good job as well, I suppose. He kind of, I don't know, he went sort of back and forth from being the goofy sidekick cop that doesn't really do his job very well, but is there to help out the really successful cop. But then all of a sudden, like, whenever he goes into his own house, and then Billy, who seems like the main antagonist at the time, he shows up with his 2 henchmen. He actually seems like he might be a good cop as well. I don't know. It was kind of back and forth on how they wanted to handle it. But yeah, we see he goes home and he ends up getting shot by this guy named Billy. And just like, well, who is he? guy that played Chuck. That's about he was in Thor too, and I can't really remember which one he was. But yeah, very funny guy. And so we see he's kind of building up to be sort of the main antagonist. We see he's been really looking at Jules a lot and following her, taking pictures, trying to build this article of the crimes of Juliet O'Hara. And so they managed to find it and then find him as well. He's right across the street, which is hysterical. They chase him. He manages to escape in hysterical fashion. And then, we go through all of this. He leads them to Alcatraz, where he ends up getting shot and killed by the true main antagonist, Alison Coley, who was Yin all the way back in, what was that, season 5 or 6, I think? The Yin and Yang storyline was one of the most intense and interesting storylines that Psych ever had. And so she was just kind of like that one character that popped up, and I was like, they can do some really interesting things with her. And then she never appeared again. I'm like, what the heck? Why didn't they ever use her? Well, here she is again. She's gotten out of prison. They don't really explain how, but I don't know if they wanted to make that important or not. They may have dropped one line about it, but it wasn't really a big deal. How did she escape, or did she get out? Did they let her out? But yeah, so apparently she's been trying to track down Juliet and ruin her as a cop before she kills her. Because she wants to get her revenge on Juliet. The guy that she hired also wanted revenge on her because he was a snitch for Juliet, but she locked him up anyway. So yeah, two people wanted revenge on Juliet, so they track her down and manage to try to get to her. But of course the team manages to stop her. So, that's pretty much the main story. And it was interesting. I did like the sort of build up of this, okay, who's working in the background, who could it be? And then finding out that they finally managed to find a use for Alison Coley again. Yeah, that's interesting. That's a lot of fun. And like I said, there was a little bit of a hint as to who was coming up, because first of all, we see Mary show up. And he was heavily involved with the Yin and Yang storyline as well. So it's kind of a little bit of a drop of a hint, but it's not something extremely obvious. And of course, they're singing a song about Alice and something. I wish I'd brushed up on my music a little bit more before this. But yeah, he's singing a song, and Shawn realizes after he sees her that he knew all of the answers as well, because his subconscious had picked up on certain signals or something, and so his dream was trying to subconsciously tell him what was going on. But yeah, that's pretty much the main gist of the storyline. There's some other side stories going on with Shawn and looking for his grandmother's engagement ring, which hilariously he still has not found after that one guy stole it in the series finale. I'm just like, really? They didn't manage to catch him? But yeah, so he's still searching for that. He's trying to find it through this one guy who's trying to kill him throughout the entire episode because he thinks that he stole from him, and then ultimately he tells him exactly what happened. And the guy still threatens to kill him until he realizes Shawn's a psychic. So tell me about the future. And then Shawn puts out some tarot cards and just says this whole future, be careful about curbs and watch out for salt. It's going to be the death of you or something like that. And then in the funniest cameo of this entire movie, we see the whole, well, how did all these premonitions come true? We come to see that Buzz pops up because Shawn asked him for help, and he helped make all of these predictions come true. And I'm sorry, that's brilliant. Just having Buzz pop up for this one cameo, and all he's there to do is just make sure his predictions come true. That's hysterical to me. I loved, that was one of the funniest things about this this movie. I'm still thinking of it like it's an actual TV show, because it honestly felt like a longer episode of Psych, and I think that was one of the best things about it. All of these little things, the little touches, it felt like one long episode of Psych. These storylines, the thing with Shawn dealing with this guy, it feels like it might have been shortened down if it was a regular sized episode. Same thing with the main case. Probably would have been shortened down a little bit if it was a regular sized episode. But they decided to just make another episode of it just a little bit more extended, and I love that. I love what they did with it. I thought it was very cleverly done. A lot of the jokes landed. Some of them didn't. There were some jokes I'm just kind of like, okay, I get it. The one where the WWE superstar, I don't know anything about WWE. I just knew she was a WWE star because of some of the moves she was pulling off on Woody and Shawn's dad. But yeah, she like walks in. She's like, I guess my milkshake brings all the bald guys to the yard. I'm like, what? I get it, but it wasn't that funny. There were a couple jokes like that just didn't really land. They're kind of eh. But at the same time, there were a lot of jokes that really did land. I mean, Gus meets literally the female version of him, and it's hysterical. They start talking about stuff. She's coming on to Gus because he's doing his whole, like, doing his nose thing. And he's just like, I'm a cheetah, Shawn. I'm a cougar, Shawn. This is how I do. I start my attack. And then all of a sudden, she's coming to him, and he's just like, what's she doing? I can't attack like this, Shawn. What's going on? And all of a sudden, she just, like, forces herself upon him, and they start to get talking about the planets and stuff, and then all of a sudden she brings up the ninth planet Aries, and she's like, what? No, Pluto's the ninth planet. And she's like, what? I'm glad we rectified that mistake. And it's just like, oh no, she didn't. And it just they're looking angry at each other, and all of a sudden she starts kissing him. He's just like, wait, what? She's like, wait, did I completely misread that situation? And he just storms out. It was weird, but it was really funny. And then throughout the entire episode, she's like stalking him, and he's just kind of freaked out, but at the same time, kind of turned on because she is exactly what he's looking for, just a little bit crazy, which is kind of what he needs. And the scene where they're in the coroner's office, and she's talking to Gus about all this stuff, and Gus is like, you can't just do this and do this and do this, and Shawn turns to Woody, he's like, Gus has done that at least 5 times in the past month. It's perfect. So yeah, I think they really handled that well. I do hope she comes back if we're going to have further movies from here on out, because I think that's a funny little relationship to cultivate. But yeah, that was a lot of fun. Woody coming back had its ups and downs. Woody has always been a character that it feels like some of his jokes are either hit or miss. And when I say hit or miss, I mean really hit or miss. Either he is hysterical, or it's just really awkward and kind of like, that wasn't funny at all. Same thing with this movie in general. He was either really funny, or just really kind of like, like I don't know. It just didn't. Some of them really worked, some of them really didn't. So that's kind of been Woody's character in general. So I suppose they stuck true to that, and I'm glad they did that. Seeing Shawn's dad come back, really funny. Seeing him like kind of almost like a hipster now. He's got like this weird beret that he's wearing. He's talking about going and playing in a band, and it's just like, what is going on with him? Is he going through a phase or something? And at the end of the movie, he's just like, screw all that. I'm gonna go fishing. I'm like, okay, he's back to normal. Like I said, Lassie's cameo was really good. I'm glad that we got to see him a little bit, even if it was, I have no doubt it was probably difficult for him. So I'm glad that he did have that moment, and more power to him, the fact that he was able to do it even after having a stroke. So he still dropped some really funny lines too. I love this. Tell Shawn he can suck it. And when I say suck it, I mean really suck it, like a long time. Just, that was funny. Shawn and Gus still have it going, just that camaraderie, I felt it. And considering that we're like, how long has it been now? 3 years? Maybe 2 or 3 years removed from the series finale? I mean, that's a lot of time to be away from a co-star and not be with them every day, not have that kind of fluidity that they used to have. And the fact that they managed to come back to it and still have that camaraderie, yeah. I mean, they did a good job with that. It felt like we picked up right where we left off, and that's hard to do at times. So I love the fact that they managed to capture all of that. I love the fact that they managed to capture a lot of the essence of the show, even though it's kind of like, I don't think it's really supposed to be anything more than just kind of tacking on to the end and sort of wrapping up some stories, getting a lot of cameos from these guest stars that we saw so many times. John Cena appears at the very, very end. He was Juliette O'Hara's brother. And it's just like, oh, he's back for literally 2 minutes, and that's it. So some of these guys they just wanted to bring in just to be like, hey, we got our guest stars back. But some of the stories really did go somewhere. We see at the end, Shawn realizes he doesn't need the ring anymore. He wants to just get it done, get married to Juliette. But ultimately, he manages to get the ring back anyway because, happy endings and all. But even then, it's still not entirely wrapped up. We see something's going on with Ewan O'Hara. Don't really know what. Don't know if that's going to tie into the next movie, if there is one. Or if that's just something like, oh, this is what happens. This is being the life of being tied to all of these crazy people. But yeah, that's where it does sort of make me wonder if this. I'm hoping this movie does well enough to sort of land these future movies, because if that manages to happen, then they can really set up something really interesting here. Because I'm sure this first one, they had a plan, and there's probably certain things that are set up in this one that may be talked about in future movies as well, but I'm sure they also kind of had it told in such a way where if they didn't manage to get these future movies greenlit, this one could be on its own and be enough. And so that's kind of where I'm wondering how much of this is something that I should be looking forward to in the future, and how much of this is something that's just for this movie just to have some fun. Like Gus meeting this new girl. Is this something that's like, maybe this is the one, maybe down the line this is the one he marries? Or is this just something that's like, yeah, let's just have some fun in this one movie and throw Gus with this girl that he'll probably never see again after this? So, yeah, I don't know. I'm really looking forward to seeing what the plan is in future. If they manage to get those movies greenlit, I certainly hope so. I hope that it did well enough to cause USA to say, hey, let's do this, because honestly, Psych is a series that, it's a great series. It's one that will live forever. So many good times. If they're going to do future movies, Tony Shalhoub has to make an appearance as Monk. I don't know if you ever saw Monk. If you didn't see Monk, that's another show you need to go watch. Another great USA show. Both of these shows were just back to back. So awesome when I was growing up. Great shows. And on top of that, in the series finale of Psych, they even made a reference. They were talking about another private detective who was in there arranging the serials alphabetically. That's Monk. So he's got to show up if they're going to do future movies. It's got to happen. Please let it happen, because that would be awesome to see Psych and Monk team up. Oh, it's the dream. So, yeah, I'm really looking forward to see what's going to come in the future. But as far as this is concerned, it was a lot of fun. It was great to return to a show that I've loved for so long. A lot of really good jokes. Some of them didn't work, but overall, I think it was a really great movie and a great way to sort of bring back something that we've missed. And I certainly hope there's going to be at least a little bit more in the future, because I'm sure I'm not the only one that wants more Psych. I'm sure there are other people out there who are like, yes, please give us some more, because it's so much fun. It's a lot of fun. And on top of that, some of their mysteries have been really, really well done mysteries. The question is, can they give us better mysteries from here on out? Because this one, it could have been a better mystery, but at the same time, I don't think that was the point of this episode. I think the point was to bring back something and sort of remind us of the past a bit, while trying to set up a few things for the future as well. So that's about all I got to say about it. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. What were your thoughts on this movie? Let me know. We can talk about it and discuss all that good stuff. Leave a like and subscribe. Future, hopefully, Psych the movie reviews. If there's going to be a sequel, if there's going to be 6 movies, I'm putting it in a playlist called Psych the movie reviews, because, heck, I'm an optimist. I want to believe that there's going to be more Psych the movies out there. So, yeah, leave a like and subscribe for future reviews, and hopefully see you guys in the next one. Peace out.